Hello there friends, welcome back to another episode of Generation Ochi. My name is Alan. So I just finished binge watching Demon Slayer and I gotta say the main character, Tanjiro Kamado, has really impressed me. It's not just his strength and fighting abilities, it's not even his Eren Yeager-like tenacity and hunger to be the best. It's something a bit more surprising and unexpected for someone like Tanjiro, and that is his deep empathy and compassion for all life. In a world full of crazed human flesh-eating demons, to have such compassion and empathy for life is a huge weakness. His master Sakonji Hirokodaki recognized this immediately and disapproved. But not even his master realizes that having empathy, even against your enemies in a life or death situation, is still a great strength. Because only someone who has completely mastered their own fear can still make room for such emotions in a battle. It might be the biggest strength that Tanjiro possesses, and it saved his life already on numerous occasions. Tanjiro Kamado is the oldest son in his family, and because his father was no longer with his family, he is the oldest man in his family as well. He was responsible for taking care of his 5 younger siblings and their mother. One day while returning from a journey from their mountain home to the local village to sell some firewood, Tanjiro finds his home broken into and his entire family massacred. The only person he finds still breathing is his sister, Nezuko. As Tanjiro carries Nezuko down the mountain to a healer, his sister awakes and begins attacking him. Nezuko has been infected with demon blood and now is thirsting for human flesh. But instead of being scared or angry, Tanjiro blames himself for not being there in time to rescue Nezuko from the demon in the first place. He is ashamed of himself, and at no point does Tanjiro try to attack or kill Nezuko in order to save his own life. Instead, he continues to tell his demon sister to hold on to her humanity and that he will do whatever it takes to save her, which actually ends up working. She stops attacking Tanjiro. This is actually completely unheard of. When Tanjiro later on meets the Demon Slayer Corps, they all try to kill him and Nezuko because it's deemed as something very unholy and terrible. Humans generally go crazy with bloodlust when they turn. Many of them even forget about their former lives. My theory is Tanjiro never saw Nezuko as a demon, or at least he didn't treat her like one. Instead, he continues to fawn over Nezuko and show her the love and compassion and support that all big brothers should show to their little sisters. Tanjiro from the beginning believed that Nezuko would never harm another human being despite being a demon, and mainstream society back then would have probably seen him as a fool. Demons will devour humans not because they are evil, but simply because that is in their nature, and that's probably how they sustain themselves to survive. But it turns out somehow Tanjiro is right. Nezuko seems to be different from other demons, and he's even able to convince the Demon Slayer Corps of this as well, because Nezuko never kills a human being. I think if it weren't for Tanjiro's extreme belief and compassion for his sister, then Nezuko might have turned into a demon that ate humans. It's very possible. Perhaps it's his positive reinforcement and his kindness that reminds Nezuko of her past life. While most demons seem to lose their way in memory after they begin killing, Nezuko more or less remains under control of herself and instead regains energy by sleeping, something we've never seen a demon do before. But then again, how many humans react to demons in the same way that Tanjiro does? And not only that, Tanjiro has put his life on the line multiple times to save his little demon sister. Also, having a powerful demon like Nezuko and his crew has been greatly beneficial for Tanjiro as well. Nezuko saves Tanjiro from a demon soon after they decide to join forces. She was also the first to wake up on the Mugen train and help the Demon Slayers wake up from a demon's enchanted dream. Tanjiro's empathy and compassion are what leads him to protect his sister, and it's already paying dividends. Now, to have empathy for your sister or another family member is not surprising. But Tanjiro's kindness spans beyond just his own immediate family to the entire human race. If you take a look at Tanjiro's 2 closest companions, Inosuke Hashira and Zenitsu Agatsuma, they aren't exactly the type of demon slayers most people would want on their squad. Or at least, at first glance, you wouldn't want them on your squad. Inosuke Hashira was completely nuts. When we first see him, when he wasn't hunting demons, he would actually challenge other demon slayers to battle. His obsession with becoming the best swordsman swordsman not only made him a terrible partner, but also a danger to everyone around him. Most people would have avoided this guy like a plague, but Tanjiro was somehow able to look past his flaws and see Inosuke as the skilled and talented swordsman that he is. Inosuke is a raw powerhouse, but he also can be quite reckless and impulsive. Having someone like Tanjiro to watch his back will keep him out of trouble. Because of Tanjiro's compassion and empathy, they have made a strong partnership that will benefit the both of them. The first time Tanjiro runs into Zenitsu after the final trial, we find him harassing a random girl who is walking along the street. It's a terrible first impression, but even so, Tanjiro does not judge Zenitsu. Instead, he shares his last rice ball with him. Tanjiro continues being nice to Zenitsu, even though he's a complete coward and at first glance completely useless in combat. But Zenitsu survived the final trial somehow, so he must be good at something. And we later find out that he indeed is very dangerous, especially when he goes to sleep and enters a combat trance. Even though Zenitsu only knows one breathing technique right now, he's still a very formidable foe, and he's able to take out demons all by himself if forced to. Zenitsu can also hear as well as Tanjiro can smell, which is another important asset. Lastly, Zenitsu has fallen for Nezuko, and so he'll do anything to protect her, which makes Tanjiro's life much easier. Inosuke and Zenitsu are probably two allies that most people would not have the patience to have. Tanjiro, however, is empathetic enough to see worth in them, and that in turn helps them fight at their fullest potential. And judging by how many demon slayers are being killed by demons, well, Tanjiro will need all the help that he can get. While on the Mugen Train mission, Tanjiro, Inosuke, Zenitsu, and the Flame Harissa are put asleep by a dangerous sleep demon, Enmu, lower rank 1. While the demon slayers are sleeping, Enmu sends them children to enter the dreams of these warriors and find their consciousness and destroy it. These children, like everyone else on the train, are maddened by the demon's blood arts and will do anything to escape it, and so they follow Enmu's command. While the Flame Harissa has his own natural defenses while sleeping to prevent others from tampering with his consciousness and soul, Tanjiro's kindness and purity are what protect him. When the demon's child servant attempts to enter Tanjiro's soul, he's blown away by how pure and beautiful it is. Not only that, Tanjiro's soul is so pure that small little sprites began to lead the child servant directly to his spirit so that the child servant could destroy it. The child servant becomes overcome by how pure and trusting Tanjiro is. He starts weeping instead of carrying out his mission to end Tanjiro's life. This was an extremely dangerous moment that could have been the death of Tanjiro, but once again his kindness and empathy are what protect him, because ultimately most of the people Tanjiro face, whether they are demons or not, are a victim of the original demon's sin. Because Tanjiro sees the best in everyone and is extremely empathetic, he can only create more allies, even if they were originally enemies. So in each one of these situations, Tanjiro improved his chance of survival, not by training more, not by picking up new swords or learning new breathing techniques. Instead, all he did was be himself, be empathetic, pure, and kind. I think it's very rare to see characters like this and heroes like this nowadays. I think being empathetic is very underrated, and it can be very powerful if used in the right situations. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button down below so you don't miss on the rest of our awesome content. We'll probably be covering more Demon Slayer and maybe Attack on Titan stuff in the very near future. Anyway, until next time, my name is Al. See you guys.